Hello everyone, this is Pritika, PGT Biology in Modern Sandeepani School. Here I am going to discuss a presentation on viral diseases. Virus. Virus is a submicroscopic infectious agent that replicates only inside the living cells of an organism. Virus can infect all types of life forms from animals and plants to microorganisms including bacteria. Now what is the structure of virus? Virus display a wide diversity of shapes and sizes, have diameter between 20 to 300 nanometers. Now, classification of viruses. The viruses are classified on the basis of the following. The very first is morphology. Morphology means to say the structure of the capsid, the presence or the absence of the envelope. Second, size of virion. Third, type of host. Host means to say the structure of the virus infected bacteriophage, mean to say those viruses which infect bacteria cells. Plant viruses infect plant cells, and animal viruses that are subgrouped by the tissues they attack, the turbotropic and neurotrophic. Now, some examples of deadly viruses. There are many viruses which are fatal for humans. Some examples of such viruses are as follows. The very first, coronavirus. Virus is named after its shape, which takes the form of a crown with protrusions around it and hence is known as coronavirus. Coronavirus cause respiratory tract infection. The primary reservoir is any species of bat. The four main transmission routes are droplet, airborne, and fecal-oral transmission. Now, how does coronavirus cause infection? Firstly, droplets from coughing or sneezing. Then it go with the people nearby can take in through their nose, mouth or eyes. Then travel quickly to the back of your nasal passage and to the mucous membrane in the back of your throat. Afterwards, coronavirus particles spiked proteins sticking out from surfaces hook onto cell membranes, then at last, genetic material proceeds to hijack the metabolism of the cell. Now the question is, how does that process cause respiratory problems? First of all, virus multiplies, burst out and infect neighboring cells. It starts in the back of throat with a sore throat and a dry cough. Virus then crawls progressively down the bronchial tubules. Then virus reaches the lungs. Their mucous membranes becomes inflamed. Last, they damage the alveoli or lung sacs and hard to carry out their function of supplying oxygen to the blood. Now the common symptoms are fever, dry cough, mild breathing, gastrointestinal issue, diarrhea, general body ache. Severe symptoms are high fever, pneumonia, kidney failure, and death. Now, how do you prevent the spread of the coronavirus? The very first, hand washing with soap and water or clean them with an alcohol-based sanitizer. Second, practice social distancing. And last, clean and disinfect. Second is Ebola virus. Ebola virus was first discovered in 1976 near the Ebola River. It is based on the nature of similar viruses. Scientists believe the virus is animal-borne with bats or non-human primates. The incubation period of Ebola virus is 21 days. In the very first time, it is identified in two simultaneous outbreaks in 1976, one in South Sudan and one is Democratic Republic of the Congo. In 2014 and 16, Ebola outbreak in West Africa was the largest and most complex. Transmission and symptoms of Ebola. The transmission has been occurred by the blood or body fluid, that is, including but not limited to urine, saliva, sweat, feces, vomiting, breast milk, and semen. It infected fruit bats or primates. Third, the objects like needles and syringes that have been contaminated with the viruses. Symptoms of Ebola is high fever, headache, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach pain, chest pain, raised rash, red eyes, and lack of appetite. Prevention of Ebola: avoid undercooked food and bushmeat, wash hands with soap and maintain proper hygiene. Health workers must wear proper protective clothing. People must fight misinformation by spreading the truth about Ebola. Go to a health facility as soon as you have any symptom. Third, Nipah virus. Nipah virus is a zoonotic virus. It is transmitted from animals to humans and can also be transmitted through contaminated food or directly between people. Nipah outbreak in Malaysia was in 1999, in Bangladesh in 2001, Siliguri in 2001, and in Kerala was 2018. The incubation period of Nipah virus is 4 to 14 days. Now, transmission of Nipah. It transmitted by infected bats, infected fruits, infected pigs, and infected human also. The symptoms are fever, headache, vomiting, fainting, nausea, fatigue, and epilepsy. Prevention and treatment of Nipah. There is no any effective drug therapies available yet. Basically, ribavirin reduces mortality. Recent development for Nipah virus antiviral focus on inhibitor of fusion and receptor binding. Soluble versions of the glycoprotein and epiphane B2 show to inhibit NIV envelope-mediated infection. No passive immunopharylase, antiviral chemopharylase, or vaccine is currently available. Fourth, HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. HIV causes AIDS. It damages the immune system. HIV infection in India was first detected in 1986. Now, the transmission and symptoms of HIV. HIV is transmitted by unprotected sex, drug addicts, blood transfusion, pregnancy, non-sterile instruments. But there is a misconception that AIDS are transmitted by touching also, but not like this. By touching, by through food, with a kiss, insects bite, and in the pool, the HIV never be transmitted. The symptoms of HIV are lymph node swelling, headache and difficulty concentration, skin rashes, fever, night sweats, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, weight loss and fatigues, muscle pains and joint pains. Now, treatment and its prevention. Treatment for co-infection, comorbidities, protease inhibitors, fusion anti-attachment inhibitors, NRTI, integrase-based inhibitor, NNRTIs, single tablet regimen. Prevention, HIV testing and counseling, blood supply screening, microbicides, clean syringes, STI treatment, medical male circumstance, treatment prevention of drug alcohol abuse, education behavior modification, treatment as preventions, and condoms. Fifth, hantavirus. It causes hantavirus hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome or hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Hantavirus infection have been reported from all continents except Australia. Regions especially affected by this virus include China, the Korean Peninsula, Russia, and Northern and Western Europe, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, the United States, Canada, and Panama. In March 2020, a man from Yunnan tested positive for hantavirus. Now, the transmission and symptom of hantavirus. Firstly, transmission. Chronically infected rodent, horizontal transmission of infection by intraspecific aggressive behavior. Virus also present in throat, swab, and feces. Virus is present in aerosolized excreta, particular urine. Secondary aerosols, mucous membranes, contact, and skin breaches are also sources of infection. Symptoms are The early symptoms are chills, fever, muscle ache, and the later on symptoms are dry cough, headache, nausea, vomiting, shortness of breath. Now the treatment: ventilator management, circulatory support, dialysis and fluid management. No antiviral treatment available. Prevention is a key. Pest control, disinfection of soil areas, personal protective equipment, vaccine in development in some Asian countries, no available in US, none yet recognized by WHO. So in this PPT, we have discussed about various types of viruses and how to protect yourself from them. So in the last, the conclusion I want to wrap up with: once a major disease has been eradicated, too much is at stake to return to a pre-eradication era. Post-eradication strategies need to be considered early on during an eradication campaign and developed when the possibility of eradication is certain. As a population immunity wanes, viruses evolve, and complications sets in, the catastrophic potential of a disease outbreak in the post-eradication era increases. It is crucial that we adequately prepare for reoccurrence of an outbreak, no matter how improbable. The issue raised in this workshop provide a framework for the thinking about post-eradication policy and research need that must be addressed now before eradication of any other disease is certified, and while there is still time to prepare and conduct crucial research that can influence how well we will meet the challenge of the post-eradication era. Thank you.